Hi, it's dark, and there's lightning in the distance. But I've been kind of digging around. Just trying to find answers that I should have found literally years ago. But, again, years ago, answers weren't exactly as easy to find. And to be bluntly honest, it's like once I established my own path and I started having my own experiences, I really stopped looking. I stopped looking for the information because it became mine. And even I'm going to quote some messages from someone that I've been talking to today. And again, I don't name names unless it's Crystal or someone, I don't know. But I find it ironic that this particular person that I've been talking to today, she and I both didn't really have luck in using Conway's rituals to kind of like bridge the connection between us and our respective dragons, or any of the ones that wanted to work with us or are willing to work with us. We had to do our own thing in order to be able to even establish that connection. So, not exactly sure as to why that is, and I'm not even going to throw out a theory because I could be wrong. Some people may have had a great success with her rituals and whatnot, and that's great, but just personal experience, I did not, and apparently neither did this particular person. Now, in my last video, I had named Parker J. Torrance as credit for Draconic Wicca. Now, I have to swallow my words, swallow my pride, and backtrack. But you know what? It's one of those... It is embarrassing, but I have to be able to be okay with the fact that I made a mistake and that I am human. Because I'm not human if I don't make mistakes. Not only that, but being able to be mature enough in order to own my mistakes and hold myself accountable for them. I will say that, in my opinion, I don't know, but in my opinion, not that, it's any better or worse than anybody else's, but in my personal opinion, his book, to me, was still very much Wiccan influenced, or Wiccan based. Maybe, again, in my opinion, more so than Conway's. Primarily because of the way that it was structured and the way that it was written, and how he, again, repeating myself, the way that he rewrote things in order to be able to have that vibe. Now, I am contacting some people that I came across many years ago. Like, I took an hour this morning hunting down two guys that I vividly remember their faces on YouTube from like 14 years ago. They hadn't been practicing longer than I had, and it's primarily dragon magic that they were practicing. But these two specific guys, I have managed to start contact with one of them. The other one has not responded, which is fine. I mean, he may not be that active, and that's fine. People have lives. I have not received any answers from the other guy yet, the one that has responded. But I have managed to actually have a conversation with one person that had a blog that, again, has been around since before my practice even began. She just told me that, because of course I'm always nosy when people start their path. So she apparently she started her path in 2004. I'm not sure how old her blog is. I know that I hadn't come across it and it was older than my thing. But making sure that we are on the right one. Okay. So I'm going to quote, again, not naming names, but this woman has all the credit for what I'm going to share. And I'm blind without my glasses. But she goes, "The first I heard of any kind of dragon witchcraft was from DJ Conway. We will address that in a moment, because I made an error. Dancing with Dragons then eventually found a much older book written by Ian Corrigan, whom I am also attempting contact with, in 1982, called The Book of the Dragon, which has rituals calling the dragon in Latin, Welsh, and Enochian. So I thought maybe it has British or Celtic origins, question marks. I was in an online dragon clan called, I'm so sorry, I'm not going to pronounce that because I'm going to butcher it, and I don't want to be disrespectful. For a few years, and one of the founders, I'm not going to name his name, just for privacy's sake, said he learned dragon magic from his German grandfather, and what he taught also seemed very Wiccan based. My thing blacked out. Hold on. Oh, there we go. Sorry I can't be more helpful, but I really don't know the answer, because I'm asking around trying to find out, just kind of digging around because I'm nosy as hell. But of course that has me thinking, if this dude's German grandfather taught this guy, then the possibility for draconic Wicca is a hell of a lot older than, anybody can claim. Like, it even goes back further than, Conway's book, which she was kind enough to send me a picture, because I had to ask her about it, because I tried to do a Google search, because again, my book is somewhere in the house. And it had been dated back in 2002, so I asked her about it because it conflicted with what she told me, and she sent me a literal picture of the page, which the copyright for Dancing with Dragons is from 1994, which is a lot older. But I may have said that in a previous video, but I don't remember because it's been literally years. So don't quote me on that, because I don't know. I don't know if I did or not. So anyway, this is a much longer message. I pretty much, just, again, digging around, looking for answers. She said, I quote, "It's been a long time since I read Conway's Dancing with Dragons, but I think it is far more Wiccan influence than her two later dragon books." Pausing for a moment. I have not sought out, I didn't even know that Conway had a third book. If I did, I completely forgot. I do not own it. I've stated my reasons in my previous video for why I have stopped with Conway, and, well, in this one, because, yeah. Sorry, cars. And not only that, but I've also, I've already expressed my opinion that, I think Parker's book was more Wiccan based. But again, my opinion. Doesn't make it fact, just makes it indeed. Where am I? Oh, the way her rituals were written and structured, and the recommendation of tools for the altar, etc., is all very Wiccan. I've only been practicing since about 2004. But that was also when any kind of witchcraft was still often referred to as Wicca, because it was the less provocative terminology. I can understand that. That gradually changed over the years, with initiatory Wiccan groups wanting to reclaim the name for themselves only. A lot of the original Wiccan ideas espoused by breathing. Gerald Garner, the father of Wicca, in the 1950s, were inspired by Freemasonry rituals. Her last sentence is something that has actually been kind of like revolving around my head for the past couple of days. Not past couple of days, since yesterday. So it's one of those, you get it. But she goes, everything is inspired by everything else. And it's all interconnected in one way or another. So I think it's difficult to pinpoint an exact moment when draconic Wicca / witchcraft / magic was called one thing or the other. And again, that last sentence has been going around in my head since yesterday. Everything has a source. Everything has, everything has a point to where it had inspired something else. Even the Norse, which is, an old path, it was influenced by German mythology. German mythology is a lot older than Norse, but they're connected. And then you have, the Greeks and the Romans and how they managed in order to do things, and Egyptians, and even Christianity. Christianity has been influenced by a lot of things. So, yes, I know, thank you. I have an alarm, but whatever. I'm going to continue Nerd to Dig because, again, I am nosy. But so far, this is kind of what I've gathered. I had no problem swallowing my pride. I had no problem saying that, I may be wrong on something. It might embarrass me, but shit happens. We're human. We make mistakes. We have to be able to take accountability for ourselves. It's okay. That is a boo-boo bus. But hopefully they're okay. Ambulance. I call it a boo-boo bus. But we have to be able to take accountability for ourselves, and it's perfectly fine, But best thing we can do is educate ourselves, so then we can hopefully educate other people. So, yeah. I think that's about it for now. I will update with more information as I come across that, and hopefully we can find some answers. And, I'm not the first nor the last in order to, go digging around. It's just, the people who follow and or watch or choose to watch me, I can go ahead and try to help them. They can try to help me, and we can try to help each other. So, just helping each other. Try to find answers. Spark our curiosity. So, it's fun. you know, just, it's fun of being able to finally sit down and, I mean, I've had 3 kids, so that's another thing, but just being able to, you know, sit back and do research again, and I don't know. I feel like I'm in my 20s again, at least for the time being, because, you know, I'm hunting down dancers, and it's just fun. But I need to call my kids and tell them goodnight, and yeah. So, I got really close. Hello. You don't need to be that close to my face. I don't need to be that close to you. So, yeah. Sorry that this video is so dark, but hopefully one of us learned something. I know I did. But have a good night.